Hey everybody, this is Mickey G. Listening to the news today, you might say the world is in a sad state of affairs. And Rodney and I talk about why that might be true in this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School.
So, man, what do you think about the excursion? This boy done dug a hole. He don't even know. He don't have a clue about how to get out.
I thought about you when that happened. I said, now see, this is a perfect example of how we need to get on and do a recording when things are happening.
Yeah.
I thought about you as soon as I woke up that morning. They said that they had bombed. I ran, and I'm like, yeah. See, this is when we need to get on and do a show right today. Because I said, I know Rodney's got some strong opinions, and it ain't. It's typical. And the thing that bothers me more than anything else is you got these damn people up there that's kissing his butt so much that they just let him do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Gas prices going up, and him and JD Vance talking about, oh, don't worry, they're gonna come down. Yeah, well, you ain't gotta pay for gas. So you ain't gotta worry about that. And what are we gonna do? One day you say we're gonna, and the first thing I thought about was a few months ago, you said y'all had annihilated that big word he uses, all of their nuclear assets, they're done. We ain't got to worry about them again. Then all of a sudden now they're a major threat. Well, you said you annihilated everything. So how'd that change?
Just be lying, just like now. He over there, he must be hallucinating at night, thinking he talking to Iranian leaders, talking about we're close to an agreement. And they're like, we ain't talking to nobody over there. I'm like, boy, this is what Americans will put up with. He'll like yesterday. The Iranians gave us a real expensive gift. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but they gave us a real expensive gift. And two damn reporters asked the question, does it have to do with this? No, it doesn't have to do with that. It's this. I'm like, look at this. He don't even know. All they got to do is just keep him talking. He'll spill the beans. And Hegseth with his drunk ass up there when he and Trump was up there addressing the media, I should say their propaganda squad, he up there drunker than a skunk, man. Our negotiating is with bombs. I'm like, look at this,
Yeah.
And I know what I wanted to tell you too. I'm sure I told you a while back, I'm in a group from my old high school, and we talk. And so one of them sent a message out to all of us to call one of our friends who lives in Port Arthur, Texas. And because to make sure he was all right, because they blew up a Valero refinery down in Port Arthur, Texas yesterday. It ain't been on the news. I turned it on the news to see if I'd hear. Ain't nothing been on there. That's why they don't want the real reporters in, and they don't want to update anything. They're keeping everything close because it's just a matter of time before those Iranians start hitting over here. It's just a matter of time. As soon as they can get their dead cells, I shouldn't say dead cells, but their sleeper cells over here activated. But this is what we can expect. How you gonna have a whole refinery? They told people within I think it was a 10 or 20 mile radius to shelter in place. Now you have an event like that going on in the United States, and you don't hear nothing about it on the news.
I ain't heard nothing about that.
No, it's and I wouldn't have known if it hadn't one of our friends wasn't living down there, and they sent it out to, hey, give him a call and make sure he's okay and that kind of thing. Wouldn't hear nothing about it. Just like we don't hear about half that's going on. That's that, they're trying to keep like everything is calm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and just some of the stuff that they doing, when they were talking about, bombing the oil refineries and all. I said, gas is already up over $1 a gallon in some places. because they just can't move the tankers through the straits,
Yes.
news over there. But you're gonna go and bomb the refineries where the oil goes from to the tankers for them. What
Stupid.
sense does that make that you're gonna
Stupid.
do that? And, then the next day came out and said, "Oh, we decided we're gonna hold off on that because they're negotiating with us now." And I'm like, why would you want to negotiate now if these people say they're gonna go and bomb those very oil refineries that's causing gas prices to go up? That don't make sense.
Don't make sense
It
at
just
all.
it's just such a stupid way of everything that they do, and I still say it, and maybe they know something that we don't know is why, but I still say the Democratic leaders just ain't coming out vocal and strong enough at a time when they should be jumping on every little thing. And I don't know if it's something they know that's going on that they can't do that or whatever. But I mean, I know they talk about what gas prices are going up and food prices going up. You should be jumping up and down on top of something, telling the world every day that's what's going on.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Like I say, I don't know. I mean,
Well, I think you're right in that situation, but I also think just like with us, the American public, they are keeping everything so close to the vest and lying. You don't know. I mean, he's not even inviting them to any of the briefings, and then they're not telling them anything. And just like uh, um, well, everything that they do, they tell a damn lie about it. And just like they're talking about, they anticipate. No, you didn't. You that's that's Iran's biggest leverage is the Strait of Hormuz. They're not going to deal that away to you and think that you can just go in there and tell them folks, well, you thought you done talked about your allies so bad and all that. Now you're mad because, see, they don't want to come and help because you made the mess. You cleaned it up. I'll be
that's
damned.
exactly what they that's exactly what they said.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I don't know if it was the actual cover or not, or if it was an AI generated cover of Time magazine
Hmm.
with all the foreign leaders, all the foreign leaders shooting at the bird,
Yeah.
and and then what's the name? Jimmy Kimmel was doing a spoof on it the other night, and they were like doing a roll call of all the NATO countries, and they all like, nope, nah,
Yeah,
nah,
exactly.
nope, yeah, nah, no. I'm like, yeah, see, they're
Yeah.
pissing all them folks off, and
Yeah.
then you want them to come over there and take care of some of your problem. They're like, no, we ain't gonna do that because we didn't cause all this mess.
Exactly.
And then they
You
was
didn't
talking
cause a.
about the situation with Russia was basically how the way that they had set up for Russia to be involved, and somehow it
Mhm.
basically ended up Russia was paying Iran in the end, kind of thing. They
Yeah.
said basically they're paying them to fight us now.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
And
So
providing them with intelligence.
yeah, I'm like, it's just such
But
a
you and
stupid
Putin supposed to
thing
be boys. You just getting played all the way
all the
around,
time. He's
you
he's
know?
done that ever since he's been in office. I don't know
Yeah.
why he don't see it, but he's been doing that ever since he's been in office, and he just thinks he's so big and bad. He can talk so big and bad because he's got all them dummies up there behind him, and he's got a powerful military and a powerful country.
Yeah.
But he just like when he's talking about Cuba. Oh, I can do whatever I want to with Cuba. I can do whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm thinking about what I want to do. I'm like, you ain't some kind of Attila the Hun kind of thing that's going to invade countries, and I mean, you just can't do those kind of things. I mean, he thinks he can,
Yeah.
but now what you gonna do? You bombed really about all you could bomb. Now from the day one, we're not gonna send troops in. Now all the talk is about, well, I guess we're gonna have to send some troops in. Everybody knew that. They've said for 50 years, you just can't bomb countries into submission anymore. You
Right.
gotta be able to go in and sort of take over, run the countries, rebuild the country, do all those kind of things. But they don't understand. Well, I say they don't understand that. They know that, but they think they can go in and drop a bunch of bombs and that's gonna be it. You can't do those things.
Well, it's all because of money. He's feeding all of his cronies, his billionaire buddies, because they're the ones that own all these companies
Yeah.
that's gonna benefit. Uh, but he's a stupid ass that really thinks he's such a frustrated coward that I just picture him as like a little kid when we used to play with them GI Joes and taking over because he don't feel nothing for nobody and their kids or their husbands and all that. They just go over there because I got the baddest army and I can play bad behind it, because he's a coward. And if you'll notice, all the ones, because I think Iran is showing them, they probably thought Iran, they can't do nothing. Iran is diligent, and they gonna fight till the end. And all these powers, just like Russia, how many times have they gone into these little countries that you think they take over? Oh, they'll be over in a week. These countries kick their ass. They all leave with their tail between their legs, just like Vietnam did for us, and just like Iran is gonna do. Iran has got more. They got nuclear capability too. It may not be able to reach the continental United States, but it can reach enough to mess some stuff up.
Yeah.
And
And I don't think anybody, especially the administration, expected Iran to say, "Okay, we can't launch a bomb all the way to the United States, but we could hit, Bahrain, we could
yep,
hit Israel, we could hit all these other countries around here that depends on our oil and stuff too." It's like, we didn't anticipate that,
yeah,
That
because you got a
that's
bunch
where
of
your
dummies
military
up there.
intelligence is. Yeah,
Yeah,
that shows your military intelligence.
you done fired all the people with the experience and know-how who've done this thing. Plus, even if American intelligence tell your ass something, you'll choose somebody else's view over there. Your own intelligence, man. It's just, this is just a joke, man. I could have never fathomed that we would have the incompetent ass people that we have. And it starts at the top because he just keeps, just like this Mark Wayne Mullen, this ignorant mother sucker. I mean, with his associate's degree in construction, he's going to run an organization with over, 25, 30, 3,000 people that covers all kinds of different agencies in the United States. But he know what he's doing. He just put a crony up there that's going to do exactly just like the girl that he fired there. He's talking about, and it just makes me mad. And it's guilt all the way around, just like these reporters and these news shows. Well, do you think Mark Wayne Mullen is going to run the place different than who was it? It wasn't Bondi. What was it? Nome?
No, Christy,
Yeah.
no,
Do you
yeah.
think he's going to run it different? Hell no, he ain't going to run it no different. He going to do just like she did, whatever Trump says. It's a joke, man. I'm so sick of it. And then to sit up here and listen to these folks talk about how all these other countries are using propaganda. Like, what the hell you think we're doing? Using propaganda? I mean, just like now, just like I say, that oil refinery down there in Port Arthur, we ain't heard nothing about it. They didn't shut us out. Any news, we ain't got no freedom of the press. We got oppressed press. Because there ain't nowhere in hell that an oil refinery in the United States was bombed or whatever was happened to it, exploded, and there's nothing on television about it.
Yeah, because I ain't heard nothing about that.
Yeah, and you got him and his billionaire crony brothers buying up all the news agencies so that they can propagandize whatever they want to come out and not get the real truth. So, I mean, we're just sitting over here in the dark.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing that bothers me more than anything else. At least former administrations had a little bit of couth about them to try to keep the American people informed to a portion. I mean, they
Yeah.
all lie to
Oh,
us. I
yeah.
mean, they all do.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they at least tried to do that. And you had a small sense of, yeah, they're telling us what's really going on and things to the most part. But
Yeah.
when you have an administration that you can't, as they say, if their lips are moving, they lying.
Yeah.
That's really a bad situation to be in.
That's right. I mean,
That's
the
just
other ones
terrible for the people.
lied by omission. They didn't tell us at all, but they told us.
Right. Yeah. 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 It is. It's just a sad state of affairs and the stuff he does. And I couldn't believe the other day when Mueller died. He said, "Yeah, I'm glad he's dead." I mean, what
Ain't that
kind of
something?
person says something like this? Is the supposed to be the head of the free world, what
Mhm.
kind of person says something like that? Whether you like the man or not. I'm
Right.
glad he's dead. I'm glad he's dead. I'm
And
like,
all he did was
goodness.
expose your ass for the truth,
Yeah.
you know?
I just have never seen anything like it. I don't think anybody has seen anything like it in their lifetime. And there's just so many people who are willing to put up with it, especially his cronies and
Yep.
all those folks in the Senate and the House. I just, sometimes you would think sometimes they'd have to look themselves in the mirror and say, enough is enough. But I guess they don't do that. They probably
No.
don't have any mirrors.
This this is the agenda that they've always wanted. They just never had the courage to stick up there. That's why they put his idiot ass up there, because he ain't got sense enough to care about anything but himself. But he's uh, as you can see, they didn't know how far he was going because all these old 82 and on because that needed to have retired a long time ago. All of a sudden now they're not running. You done been at the trough stealing for so long. Now you got enough, I guess.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah. Yeah.
or now it's time to try to get right with the Lord. Too late now, house. And it's just amazing, man. I mean, they the stuff that they're pulling off, and I don't want to hear about this is not who we are. This is exactly who we are over here. Damn it, y'all know because you know one thing. If Barack Hussein Obama was doing this, y'all would have knocked him off a long time ago.
Yeah. 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 Well, yeah. Y'all the ones that voted for him. So yeah, it is a reflection of who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah, it definitely is a reflection of who you are. You voted for him when he got him in office.
That's
And it
right.
ain't like he didn't tell you what he was going to do.
Yeah. You just
Even
thought
though I must have said he said he wasn't going to start no wars, he was going to get us out of those kind of things. But once again, everybody knows he's lies, so why would you even believe that part either?
exactly.
But other than that, really, almost everything else he said he was going to do, he's done, and you can't look back and say, "Well, if we had known, you knew, he told you."
Yeah. But see, the thing of it is they thought it was going to be everybody else and not them. All y'all, if you ain't got no money, all you gonna pay.
Yeah, yeah, you can't you can't walk up to the gas pump and push push the Republican button and you get gas for $1 a gallon. You know,
Right.
you can't walk into the grocery store and push the Republican button and say, "I voted for the president," and all of a sudden the meat prices go in half. Yeah, it affects all of us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now you're finding it out. Now you're mad. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going out there marching. We tried to tell y'all if they say what 90-some% of African Americans voted against his ass, you might want to listen, you know, for any group, you know. And here's the more propaganda that I see anyway. All of a sudden now they trying to come back because they know that it's wrong. Like with ICE, now they got them out in the airports, which is dumb. It's the stupidest. Hey, the easiest thing to do is fund TSA so they can do their jobs. But now you want to send them out there now that they're unmasked. Now, when I saw ICE on television, you couldn't really tell, but I didn't see nothing black out there. Now that they got them unmasked and walking in the airport, that's all I see is black ICE people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ain't that a propagandish thing? And I'm like, boy, this is a joke, and to be perfectly honest, but hell, I can't say too much about them because you still got Mexican Americans out there in ICE. But I was surprised at the amount of black folks I saw walking around with ICE on their back in the airport down there in the ATL.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of Hispanics that have got that same syndrome that a lot of blacks have of,
Yes, sir.
they think they've made it. We made it now.
Yes,
We're
sir.
no longer, that group of people who needs those social programs and all those things, even though the vast majority of them do. We came the right way. We did the right thing. So we're better than those others. So yeah, we're gonna go and follow the Republican agenda who, could care less about you. But I
Yep.
think that's some of the issues that's going on with
Oh,
the Latin community too. Is a lot of the black community is, we've made it now.
yeah.
We're in that elite upper crust group because we made we make six figures a year. We're not back there with all those. We don't need food stamps and other kind of stuff.
Yep.
And they forget where they came from.
Exactly.
They forget where they came from.
That's exactly what it is. I told you about the run-in. Well, no run-in, but the guy at Lowe's. I was out there loading some stuff in my truck, and he walked up and started talking. And he's like, well, so did you serve out here at Tinker? I'm like, yeah. Did you see me parked in the parking space where it says U.S. military? And so he's like, well, can I give you a hand? I said, sure, man. Hell, my knee was killing me that day anyway. Forget what I was loading in there. Anyway, we got talking. I said, so did you serve out here at Tinker? I'm like, no, we just moved up here from Laredo. And I said, yeah, I know Laredo. I've been down there a couple of times. He said, yeah, I was on the Border Patrol. I said, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I was on the Border Patrol. And one thing about it, when Trump came into office, we got rid of a whole lot of folks down there. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, Trump, he's getting things done. I said, so you're gonna sit here and tell me that you're a supporter of Trump after what he's doing to your people? Oh yeah, he's making a difference and blah blah. I was like, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
You sitting up here looking more Mexican than most Mexican. Your ass will be next. I couldn't believe it, man. I left there so pissed off. I just said, yeah, okay. But it definitely reminds me of us.
Yeah. That's happened. They've sort of gotten into that same mindset that a lot of Black people have, and even the stuff that Trump was saying during the campaign, about those Latin countries and things of that nature. To me, that's a direct reflection on everyone.
Yes, indeed.
But they were sitting up there just laughing and giggling and taking it. We're going to be there. We're going to support him. We're going to support him. I'm like, okay, all right. All right. Like I say, I think sometimes we lose sight of of where we came from. And by no means did I ever advocate, millions of people coming across into the country with no kind of checks and balances. Never have I done that. But I think there was a smarter way of doing it. Just like when he wanted to build a wall. You're going to build a wall that people can put a ladder up against and climb right over it. That's a waste of money. Maybe you ought to look at, well, how can we work with some of these countries to maybe improve their economy so people don't have to come over here.
That's right.
They can stay at home and take care and have a living.
And that's what Biden and Obama was supposed to be trying to do, is to prop up their economies over there to keep people at home.
Yeah.
But what these suckers over here, it's always, it's smoke and mirrors. They didn't want to do the law and get these big for-profit, white-owned farms down there that's growing all of this stuff with subsidies from the United States to grow crops or not, but they needed somebody to work them fields. So they encouraged them to come over because they couldn't get Americans to do those jobs. They encouraged, well, if you really wanted to put a hold on immigration, or illegal immigration, as you say, why aren't you enforcing the rules on those farm owners down there, especially those conglomerates who are just raking in money hand over foot with no overhead, pretty much, because you got the illegal aliens over here. They're not documented, so you can pay them what you want. So you're getting over. You're not paying any payroll tax. You're not paying any retirement plan. You're not paying any health care plan for these people. You and I are paying for their health care because they weren't even allowed. But they told that lie that they're getting subsidized with welfare, which was untrue because supposedly, but I wouldn't doubt if they'd worked out something with that with these farmers. Supposedly, if you're not legally documented here, you couldn't get any kind of social assistance. So they're getting over hand over foot. You're not paying taxes to pay for the streets that your your big dozers and trucks are pulling these crops out. So you're getting over. So they don't want to stop it. They just want to use other people as a scapegoat.
Yeah, yeah. And those same people, like I say, you ain't paying a whole lot to, you ain't paying any kind of income tax on. Those same people are going out and they're eating in an economy. They're paying taxes,
right?
Because
They're
they're eating
starting
and
businesses.
they're buying stuff, they're starting businesses. They're paying taxes. So yeah, it was really a win-win situation.
Yep.
But no, we're gonna go do away with that. So we're gonna do away with all that income coming in and all that subsidized labor. And guess what? Them white people ain't going out there to work. And you
No.
know damn sure black folks ain't going out there in them fields to
We
work.
done our time.
Yeah, so who you gonna get to go out there and work them fields now? So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, but then again, it sounded good. We're gonna go
Mhm.
down there. There's a 50 million people lined up at the border, and all of them are thieves and rapists and murderers, and we can't let them in our country. 90% of them people just want to get a decent job so they can take
Yep.
care of their family.
Exactly. Well, just like with the whole thing about let's blame the cartels, which they are guilty of, but it's supply and demand. Ain't nobody making these folks out in the suburbs do all these drugs and die. You even put the drugs in the black neighborhoods trying to kill off a bunch of folks. Well, now in turn, and now you blaming everybody else. The demand is here. That's why they send so many drugs up here.
Rodney, I've always said that, and I guess maybe sometime my common sense ain't that common, but I've said there would not be a drug issue if there wasn't a market for it.
Yeah.
The people who's using the drugs, people that they coming in the States are the one that's using it.
Yeah.
They ain't sending the stuff up here that's sitting in the back room somewhere. They're sending the stuff up here because it's being used. Nobody wants to address that aspect of the issue. We got one of the major drug problems of any country in the world, but nobody wants to address that. We're gonna go out there and blow up these boats coming up the water and stuff like that. That's what we're gonna look at. So yeah, I never understood that way of thinking either. If there wasn't a market, it wouldn't be coming here.
Yep. Well, look how they play on words with everything else. When crack was killing black folks left and right, it was an indictment on our morality and our character. But then that started getting out in the suburbs. Oh, it's a disease. Now it's a disease. We need to treat it as such. But you treated it in the minority neighborhood by sending everybody to prison.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you supplying another need there, the whole other slave system. And think people are too stupid to know it. But that's one of the big problems I got with the vast majority of politicians who think or say they're supposedly for the people. You have a few black people say it around here, but not enough because it gets dismissed. And then the people who control the media also don't help in it. It's all a well-oiled machine, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I don't,
but like you say, you get to the point where you realize that trying to use common sense about things just doesn't get you anywhere. So you just move on. I guess I'll listen to the headlines in the morning and
yes, sir,
and then move on. Because if you get too immersed in it, you drive yourself crazy.
And they're all saying the same thing and saying nothing at the same time. I just got fed up with it. I'm like, I'm tired of listening. One show after the other saying the same damn thing, and the next day it's the same. The only thing that changed is the date at the bottom of the television. So I just, man, I was sitting up here before I realized I was immersed in this little cartoon, man. I'm like, why am I watching this? Just something different, man. I'm like, I don't even want to hear it,
Yeah, that's where I am too. I usually go up there and I listen to the headlines in the morning, and I don't even watch TV during the day. I usually have the music on. I listen to during the day because I just know, like I say, I just know that if you watch all that mess all day long, you drive yourself crazy, and it ain't worth all that. So I just listen just to make sure there's not something going on that really, when found out that they bombed Iran. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I sort of need to know that. I know that
Yeah.
that's what's going on now, but other than that, no, I just let it go because I know it. Trying to make sense of it just drive you crazy. And it ain't, I mean, other than voting, there ain't a whole lot else I can do but just complain. And I ain't gonna
Exactly.
run myself crazy complaining. So yeah, that's how I do too. Yeah, things do seem bad when you listen to the news. Most of the news is bad stuff, but there's a lot of good going on, and we have to stay positive for the good. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition. Join us next time for Old Fools Talking Old School. Until then, this is Mickey G. Peace.